Good afternoon, everybody. This is the family show on IPL Radio, and we've got our first ever interview, so it's very excited. I'm very, very, very excited.
Who do we have joining us today?
So we have Gracie and Jessica Taylor.
And Gracie is a book author. She is a teen book author. So a big hello to Gracie and Jess who are joining us today.
Hi, everybody.
So, Gracie, you have written how many books? Tell us.
I've written 2 books.
Wow. Yeah.
And one's a novel.
Oh, fantastic. We actually have a copy of your books. We're going to show them up on the screen. They are amazing. Do you have some questions for Gracie?
So, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I love writing. Other passions, I love going to WAPA. So I do acting, singing and dancing, musical theatre. So that's a big part of my life. Also, I love spending time with my pets and stuff. So all my animals. And I go horse riding, and that's super fun. And I love reading as well. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. So you are homeschooled as well, Gracie. How does WAPA work in with homeschooling?
So you can go to school and still go to WAPA. So it's on Sunday afternoons, 3 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
It's called their junior academy. So it's for high school students.
Oh, fantastic. That sounds exciting.
So, other than writing books, well, you basically already told us.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of Gracie's hobbies, which sound really interesting, don't they?
Tell us a little bit about the book that you've just written.
Yeah, my previous one. So this is called Isabel's Wish. It's about a girl who lives beside a forest. This girl, she loves, helping the environment and the animals that live in that forest. So in this forest, the red-tailed black cockatoos live there, and as you may know, that they are very endangered. So she goes for a walk in that forest, and she has a little accident which gives her some magical powers, and those powers help her save the forest because the forest is being chopped down by some mean men. And so it's full of adventure and fantasy and all that.
Yeah, that seems very interesting.
Yeah. So you have a strong interest with animals. Is that where the ideas have come for your books, Gracie?
Yeah. So around we live in the forest, and we've got lots of animals around us, and that's where I found they're endangered, and they're just amazing creatures, and you don't want them to go extinct. So we need to let people know what's happening.
Yeah,
absolutely. And have you used your books as a way to, show your interest and your passion and support us to make sure that they don't go endangered? Yeah.
So we are going to hopefully bring the book to Kraken. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Kraken is. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so Kraken is the Cockatoo Conservation Centre, which is not too far from here, and so Gracie's donating $1 from the sale of every book to Kraken, but just the theme of the book as well, it just is bringing people's awareness and attention to the issue and the importance of saving local habitat, for the birds so that we don't become even more endangered.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. What a great message behind your book as well.
Yeah, thank you.
So, what type of books do you like to read?
Yeah, so my favourite author is definitely J.K. Rowling. I love her. Even though that's not what I would really write, I really love. And I also like Raina Telgemeier, her graphic novels, I love them. And Laura Seaver King as well.
Yeah.
You like J.K. Rowling quite a lot, don't you? Yeah, me too.
Like the Harry Potter is so good.
Yeah.
I think the books as well, they're really good.
Yeah. So, where can our listeners buy your books from?
Yeah, so you can go to my website, gracietaylorauthor.com, and you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And your website is quite new, isn't it, Gracie?
Yeah, only just come up a couple of weeks ago.
And we were all celebrating for that next chapter in your journey as an author. So I have a question for you, Jess. When did you decide to homeschool Gracie, and has homeschooling impacted her journey as an author?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I've always wrestled with homeschooling. Like, it's something that I feel like has been calling me for a very long time. But, we had a beautiful school community at Gracie's first primary school. And so it was kind of very difficult to, even though I felt in my heart probably that homeschooling was something that really would suit Gracie especially, but probably both my kids. The community was so beautiful and we were really involved in that school. And so it was kind of hard to extract ourselves. But when we moved up into the hills, in 2021, Gracie actually got really sick for quite a long time. And so wasn't actually able to go to school. And during that time, so we started homeschooling kind of through that experience. And I just really noticed that she was doing a lot better and was a lot happier, and for my son as well. And so, we could just really see that this was going to be much more suitable for who Gracie is and her lifestyle, our lifestyle, and being able to support her health and well-being. But I think it definitely has given us an opportunity to be able to really allow her to blossom in some of these areas that are her passions. And I think something especially like this book project and publishing this book, she probably wouldn't have had the same amount of time to be able to commit to such a project. Like, it really, it took probably a good 2 years from the time she started writing to the time we actually had the book in our hands. So, it's a really big project. And I think when you're going to school, that's such a big part of the day, and you're very limited to what you can do, really, when you're in the school system. But being at home, we've got that flexibility to be able to just do what we want in some ways.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. We find that as well as homeschoolers, that we get the opportunity to do more of the kids' passions. And I agree with you. It's magical to see them blossom and follow those passions and what they can achieve with that extra time to be able to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I enjoy it too. I really enjoy it.
Do you enjoy it, Gracie?
Oh, yes. Simple friends. And it's just so much more laid back, and it's good.
Oh, good. And Toby, do you have another question for Gracie?
Give me a second. What advice would you give another young book author?
Yeah, totally. So the first, if you want to, you can start kind of two ways. You can do dot points and making a really broad picture of what you want the story to be about. Or if you just have a little idea, you can just literally start writing and just see what comes out. That's what I did for my the novel, that Isabella's Wish. I kind of just started writing, and then I got to a point, I'm like, okay, what's going to happen now? Okay, but if you can just write what makes you happy and what makes your heart sing,
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I've actually started writing a couple of books, and I've gone all over the place with it. I've started one book, another book, and then I stopped doing those books, and then did another book.
Too many ideas, Toby.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you at all, Gracie, where you've got all these explosion of ideas and you're dot pointing notes for different books, or do you usually go stick to one book at a time?
I usually do stick to one book at a time, but I've got many ideas in my head. I've got ideas for 4 more books already.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm gonna write maybe a second book to Isabella's Wish. And then I've got like a trilogy in my head, but I usually do stick to just one book at a time, otherwise it's a bit too much for me.
Yeah.
You do keep a note in your phone, don't
Oh
you?
yeah, I do. I have storybook ideas, and then I'll just have all these like ideas of like, okay, I've got like probably 10 books in there that I've got ideas from. Yeah.
And how do you decide which one you're going to work with first? If you've got all these ideas, how do you hone in on one?
Yeah, do like the ones that are most important to me at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to do the second Isabella's Wish one, and I was thinking like the trilogy one. It's more going to be maybe about my life and like what my like hard steps are. Um, and I will save like the more like the story based ones for a bit later. Yeah.
Fantastic. And do you have a goal of the timeline for those, or are you just going to go with your heart and see what happens?
I think because it's going to be a bit more like a bit like longer stories, I'm going to probably do a bit more of a plan. I was thinking it was kind of like off like J.K. Rowling's kind of stories, like mystery kind of thing. That's more like what I have to do, like a big wide plan. That was, yeah, probably going to have to do that.
Yeah.
Sounds fantastic, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I've got another question for you, Gracie. When did you start? When did you have passion for writing?
Yeah, when did you notice that you had started, being passionate about it?
I was probably a couple of years ago. The first kind of signs were like I was homeschooling and I was like doing English out of a book. And at the end of every chapter, the end of every week, there would be this like writing page where I just had to write like 200 words or something of the topic that the chapter had been on. And it would only say write like a paragraph or so, but I would end up writing like pages and pages. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is like, it makes me so happy and so fun. So yeah, that's what kind of brought me to the notice of that I love writing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And how did the journey go with going from writing something at home to publishing now 2 books, like a children's picture book and a novel? How did that happen?
Yeah, so first book, the picture book I wrote, it was just going to be a poem for school because we were still going off the school curriculum.
Yep.
But as the story kind of progressed, and Mum was like, this is pretty good. I think we can do a little bit better than this. So we started like drawing some pictures, matching them with the words. I used Procreate, an app that I used on my iPad, to draw the pictures and stuff. And what did we do after that? I can't quite remember.
Yeah, and then a friend of ours knew someone who has a printing company, and I got in contact with him and I said, look, we'd like to put this together into like a picture book format. So he helped us with that. And initially it was just going to actually be a gift for the teacher that had supported her that year. And we thought, well, we'll just do a few copies and we'll just give them to like family and give it to the teacher. But then, those copies went, and I thought, oh, wow. More people started asking, oh, can we get a copy of the book? So I thought, oh, okay, we need to print some more. So we printed some more, and then I think we ended up doing 50. Yeah. And then all of those went, and then more people wanted the book. So we just thought, oh, okay, we'll have to print another 100. So it just kind of snowballed from there because people were interested. It also helped that her nana was a very good marketer.
Every time she would come to our house, she was like, okay, I've sold 3 more books.
Yeah. Go Nana.
Yeah.
Very good.
The novel, it took 2 years. So it would start with just me writing the first draft, and then Mum would maybe read through it and say, okay, so this is a bit unclear or whatever. So we would start editing, and the editing probably took like a whole year to edit through it. And by the time I got to the end, it was so different to the draft. Like I won't even recognize it.
Are you happy with the how it evolved from the draft to the end product?
Yeah, totally. It's definitely much better since got in contact with my editor and stuff. She had definitely helped me grow the characters, make them really strong, and make the story really clear. But I don't think I have a copy of the first draft, so I can't really remember how different it was. But yeah, I love the story.
Fantastic. And for any other parents, families that are out there with a young author, aspiring author, what tips do you guys have to give to the family, to the children that are hoping to become an author one day?
Yeah, so yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's really great. So if you just start writing, I think. If you don't really, you don't have to be a professional to write a story. You just need like a strong heart and like just write what makes you happy. Yeah, if you get stuck, like nothing's wrong in a book. Just write what you think is good, and that will be good enough.
Yeah.
And I think from a parent's perspective, we just gave Gracie the time and the space. I mean, she's very self-motivated, which makes it easy, I guess, from my but really it's just giving her the time to create. And I think a really crucial point for us when I think she got to about 10 or 15,000 words, and I thought, okay, she's really taking this quite seriously. And I said, look, we actually had a friend who is a book editor. Her name is Karen from Red Feather Publishing. And so I got into contact with her. And after I had shown her the picture book, Flipper's Big Adventure, she actually had said, look, in the future, if you do need some help, I'm happy to help Gracie. And so I sort of had packed that away in my brain, remembered and got back in contact with her. And so we actually hired her to help Gracie. And that probably was one of the pivotal things that we did to really give her that boost, to get the book up to a standard where, it was worth publishing. Because Karen really challenged Gracie and gave her a lot of skills that like I just didn't have. Just really like being able to pull the story apart and not feeling too like attached to what she'd originally created, and understanding actually we're just pulling it apart to actually put it back together and make it even better. Make sure the characters are really cohesive and that the storyline makes sense and follows all the way through, and just all those little things that a book editor is trained to look at. But she did it in such an incredibly supportive way. So I highly recommend Karen.
And what business was that with? Red Feather, did you say?
Red Feather Publishing is her business.
And they're Perth-based, aren't they?
She's in Fremantle, or near Fremantle.
Fantastic.
We'll have to put that write that down so we can remember.
Yes.
If I ever write a book.
I tell her I've been mentioning her, but I'm sure she'd appreciate it. So yeah, she's really wonderful. Just really encouraged Gracie and gave her, Gracie's just learnt so much through this whole experience. It's been amazing.
Fantastic. So, Toby, do you have any other questions before we go?
How much time do you dedicate to writing books?
Yeah. So, if I really love the story I'm writing, it depends where I'm at. So if I'm still writing the story I haven't finished it yet, I probably spend a good couple of hours writing, having some breaks in between. But if I'm got to the editing stage, it's a little bit tedious, but it still, needs to be done. So I would I'll probably spend a little bit less time doing it. But yeah, overall, it probably, it took me about 2 years to write the novel.
Yeah, we're in the kind of really heavy end of it, when she was having to do lots of reading and finishing the story and all the editing. I mean, she would spend easily up to between 6 to 8, even 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
Oh.
Quite a lot.
Yeah. That's fantastic, though, that dedication to be able to put in that many hours into one task. Go you, Gracie. You've done well.
No, it's my own story. I can do whatever I want with it. So.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. And lastly, how do we celebrate a published book? What do we do?
Book launch is definitely a big thing to support. Yeah. What do we do?
We did. The book launch was really special, and we had lots of family and friends there, and you guys came down.
Yes,
which was really
we did.
We're really grateful for that. It was a long way for you guys to drive, so thank you. And I mean, as a family, we often go out for dinner. That kind of is our
Yeah.
special thing, and we'll take the kids out for dinner somewhere. But yeah, just, we're always proud of the kids, and we always tell them we're proud of them, no matter what they've actually achieved. It's just, yeah. But yeah, that question was a good question. Made me, I haven't been so busy with the launch. So yeah, we definitely need to do that.
Yeah, big celebration coming up, sounds like it.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. We are so delighted to have joined you for your book launch and reading through your book. It is amazing. We are going to share your website link on our socials. So for anyone, do you mind letting us know what the website is again for our listeners?
GracieTaylorAuthor.com.
Fantastic. So we'll share that on our socials later today. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. It was an absolute honour to have you on our show as our first interview as well.
Oh, thank you. Thanks,
so
Toby.
much. Yeah,
we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right. Shall we go to a song?
We should. This is Fast Car by Luke Combs.